Hi, my name is Katie Noland. I work for the Washington State Department of Agriculture. Today's date is August 17th, 2022. The goal of this video tutorial is to walk you through how to submit data and do evaluations for identifying the pesticides of interest and pesticides of concern in the points database. So the website you'll immediately go to is points.wsu.edu, and then it will bring you to this main login screen that I have shown here. So you'll enter your user ID, which is the state, tribe, or territory that you're registered with on this website. And then you'll submit your password to sign in. And then this is going to be your main screen. On the left here, we have a bunch of tabs that give you options in how to navigate through the system. So this first tab is going to be the first one that we go into, talking about and showing how to enter data and do the evaluations. And then a couple lines down, it's going to show the reports that are populated after you do your evaluations. And then you can also look at historical records. And then national reports are those that are a conglomerate of everyone else's sort of information put into some really easy to use tables and files. So to begin with, I'm just going to push this data entry tab. It's going to bring us to this screen here. It says to access pages to input or update pesticide and water quality data, click Select Reporting Year. So when you open a new reporting year, it's going to give you a page that looks like this. So the Select Reporting Year pops up at the top. For us, we haven't actually submitted data or done reevaluations of POCs and POIs since 2020. So at the very bottom of the web page, it'll give you an option to copy last year's or the last time you had done an evaluations year report, and then it'll populate that into the following year. At this time, you are unable to evaluate and edit the data from years past. Only the current year is able to be edited. So select reporting year, and then here we're just going to start by going into 2022. And then this page right here pops up. It goes over the pesticides of interest characterizations of 57 pesticides to begin with. Then there's an additional pesticides of interest, which you can select individually by yourselves based on what you've found in your own region or state. And then pesticides of concern, the active management of each of those pesticides of concern, if you've demonstrated any progress or kind of what your state has done to alleviate some of that pressure from the pesticides, and then the overall progress program management. So I'm just going to start by clicking into this pesticides of interest characterization. The original 57 were selected in 2007 just as kind of a starting number of pesticides to give states and territories kind of an idea of what pesticides could be possible, pesticides of concern or of interest. Some of these are banned or canceled in use at this point, but some are still very active. So if we go in here, it lists them all. I've already done 2,4-D, and it was evaluated as not a pesticide of concern. So I'm going to just jump to the acetochlor, click the edit button on the left, and it brings you to the page where you kind of walk through a series of questions, and it will help you evaluate the pesticide for its significance in your state. A lot of these for us are similar from year to year, but we are fortunate enough to have this ambient surface water monitoring program for pesticides, and that gives us a lot of data that we can use to evaluate some of this these specific chemicals. So to begin with here, acetic for us, for example, is not a pesticide of concern because we have not found it exceeding human health or ecological reference points like the EPA's aquatic life benchmarks. So what you can do is either say push no changes this year or reevaluated with no changes. So I click reevaluated with no changes, and then it jumps to the next chemical in that listing. And then you can toggle in between if you'd like to. And then hopefully by the very end, you'll have all 57 chemicals evaluated for the POC or POI designation. So if we go back to this data entry status, it gives us an idea of how many we've evaluated during this evaluation cycle. So I just completed my second one, which you just saw me do for the reevaluations. And I have done one additional one for another pesticide that wasn't on the original 57 list. So here's a list of some of the other pesticides that we find here in Washington State. And then there's an option at the top here where you can enter a CAS number or a common name to find another chemical that you want to add to the list yourself. And then when you're done with all of those things, you'll move on to the pesticides of concern. And then from here, this will be a culmination of the pesticides of interest that you previously had evaluated and had marked as a pesticide of concern. One of the things to note about points is that it's kind of finicky with the active ingredient name, so it's best to try to match them up with the CAS number when you're looking for pesticides that you want to evaluate. This active management tab, very similarly for the pesticides of concern, you can go in and edit them. It's more so just talking about what you're doing to mitigate kind of the effects of the pesticide in your state, what special projects you have going on, where some of your exceedances of the pesticide might be in the state, if it's groundwater, surface water, that sort of thing. And then the tab called Demonstrated Progress, we'll go ahead and push into one of those options. Same thing, it's kind of just asking you more questions about the effectiveness of the management itself. Have you seen a difference from year to year? Do you see increases or decreases, either statistically or just on an observational level, that sort of thing. And then when you're done evaluating all of your pesticides that you want to, you can go ahead and click this full report button. And then it goes through all of the pesticides and their kind of evaluation through time. So since the beginning, if they've changed from not a pesticide of concern to a pesticide of concern, when you reevaluated it last, and then some more comments, which is a culmination of the comments you entered in some of those previous management and progress tabs. As far as the report for your own state, you'll click on the tab on the bottom left here, and then you'll pick some version of what you'd like to see culminated into a table. So say I want to see the full report for POCs, I can then query by the state that I want to look at. So we'll just use Washington for an example in 2020. And then it lists the pesticide and why we selected it as a POC. And then you can kind of sort it out by those other tab options with the program management, progress, active management, characterizations, that sort of thing. For the national reports, Like I said, this is more so a culmination of kind of what everyone in the conglomerate has done year to year. So again, it's just selecting a reporting year and then figuring out, taking a look at which chemicals you're interested in to see how many other people have it also as a pesticide of concern. Some are much more common than other ones, but the list is very long. And with that, I'm going to just close out this tutorial. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to WSDA or EQI. Thank you.